Hello everyone. Thank you for letting me spend some time with you. I am back in the workshop, and regular listeners and watchers will know that when I come here, there's usually an object lesson involved. And that's no different today. So if you're listening to this on the audio only, you might want to check out, either YouTube or Rumble. Check out the video because it might be important for you. Help you understand something a little bit later. We're looking today at, are you comfortable in God's hands? And what does that mean? And I come out here because the best way I know to describe this, the best way I know to explain it, is to say that just about anybody who is a professional of some type or a hobbyist of some type has probably their favorite tool that they use. It feels right in their hand. They know what it's going to do. They know how it's going to react. They know how it's going to respond every time. And it doesn't matter, mechanics have their favorite wrenches, and carpenters have their favorite hammer or their favorite rule or something like that. Something I really didn't realize until a few years ago, and I've watched this almost of my life, is that people who knit and crochet, they also have their favorite type of needles that they use. They feel right, even though they're all supposed to be the same size. Different companies manufacture them from different materials. And the feel of them has to be right in your hand. They have to be comfortable so that you can use them. Something I bought a long time ago, probably about 1981 or 1982 maybe, was just a silly little flat bar. And I'll move a little bit closer. You can kind of see it's worn, it's kind of shiny. It's even got a broken spot there. But this is the one that I go to after, 40 some years, right? This is what I go to. I've got new ones, but they just don't have that same feel. They're not comfortable. When someone uses a tool, and it doesn't matter, think about a chef. They probably have that favorite pan that they use so that they know just by the feel of how warm the handle is when something needs to be stirred. They want that meal to come out perfect. They have their own knives, and that's what makes them, it lets them do those really fast speed cutting things. But when someone hands you something that isn't yours to use, even a pen, something as crazy as a pen, some pens feel really good in some people's hands, others don't. That's why they make so many different varieties. All of these things that we have. Now, like this bar, it's mine. I've used it for a very long time. Other tools here I'm very comfortable with. I know, for instance, what each one's going to do, how it's going to respond in my hand, because they become an extension of us. Now, there's a very fancy term for using things. It's called a force multiplier. Now, with a bar, it's really easy to see this. If I want to pull a nail, well, if I tried to use my fingers, it wouldn't work very well. But if I put a bar under it and I start prying, and if I need more leverage, I can pry a different way. Have you ever thought about, having to peel a potato without a peeler or a knife? Have you ever thought about how you would clean your glasses if you wear glasses without some type of a rag? It would be almost impossible. So these things multiply the forces that we use to make our jobs easier, to make things happen the way we want them to happen. Craftsmen, I've watched them with wood chisels, and they will sharpen those chisels just right, and they will get in and they will do what they do, and things turn out beautifully. And you're just thinking, well, that's all well and good, but what does that have to do with living the way we're designed to live? Everything. Believe it or not, everything, because this is where the object lesson comes in. We are made in God's image, And we are extensions of him, just like the tools that we use become extensions of us. If you are not comfortable in the hands of God, it may be because you don't belong to him. Have you ever thought about that? You belong to somebody else, but you're in someone else's hands. That's kind of a eye-opening statement, isn't it? Is your Creator, when he puts you in his hand, is he comfortable? Does it feel like an extension of him? Or is he trying to force something to happen other than being the craftsman that he is? Think about it this way. If you don't belong to him, who do you belong to? And here's where things get really interesting. In Jeremiah chapter 7, I had to think for a moment, it says, if you hear my voice, if you obey my commands, then you will be my people and I will be your God. See, that's how we belong to him. David gives us this image in Psalm 139 of being in his hands. That's where that all comes from. So if you belong to somebody else, if you're following somebody else's traditions, if you're following somebody else's marching orders, how can you belong to God? How can you be comfortable in his hands while he's trying to use you? And here's where I might go off on a little bit of a tangent, but not much, okay? Some of us think, well, man, I'm old. I'm wore out. Maybe I'm broken. It's not going to stop our Creator from being able to use you. It's no different than this bar that I bought a very long time ago. It's wore, it's broken, but it's the one I go to because I know the feel of it. It's mine, and in my hands, I know how much force to use, where, and how. Some people, some people that have broken some of these might think, how have you had that bar for 40 years? Well, it's easy. You get to know your tools. Just like a seamstress knows their scissors, just like a professional that uses a pen all the time, whether it's a draftsman with a mechanical pencil. Short track here. I was in a hobby store not too long ago, and I saw this whole display of different types of mechanical pencils. And the reason there's so many types is because not each one is going to fit in the hand of the person who uses it the way it needs to fit. And if a tool doesn't fit your hand, you can't use it properly. But if you want a tool to fit your hand, the best way to do that is to have your own, so that you know the feel, you know the balance, you know what it's like. A chef, if someone hands them a different knife than what they're used to, they're going to stop and they're going to feel that knife for balance and weight, and they're going to slow up just a little bit. They're not going to do the choppy chop thing that they do so well because they don't want to lose a finger. Are you comfortable in the hands of your Creator? That's the question. And if you're not comfortable in the hands of your Creator, how can you be? Well, I should say it this way. How can you become comfortable in the hands of your Creator? The answer to that is simple. You have to be His first. You have to be His first. If you will listen to His voice, if you will hear and obey His commands, He will be your God. He will call you His. You will be something special to Him. And He will use you comfortably. He won't have to force it. He won't have to I wasn't going to go here, but He won't have to use you like a dull chisel, because you're going to be sharp. You're going to be sharp. You're going to know what it takes. You're going to be able to withstand whatever he gives you, because he's never going to break you completely. He might modify you a little bit, but he will never break you completely. The other thing about this is even if it's something is unfamiliar to some people, I know people who fish, they have that favorite fishing rod because it just feels right. My wife, Myra, she makes cards, and I don't know how many pairs of scissors that she has, but typically she will migrate toward her favorite pair, and that's what she'll use. Her aunt was a seamstress. A drawer full of scissors, but she would always grab the ones she could depend on because she knew the weight, she knew the balance, she knew how they would respond to whatever fabric she was working with. People who do hobbies, people who do anything, people who use anything, typically will migrate to the favorite one that they go to. It's the one they go to. Our Creator is no different. If you belong to Him, and He has successfully used you, and He knows the feel, He knows the balance, He knows the weight, that's who He's going to go to every time. Every time. If you need a little bit of help figuring out how you can be His, that's where Give God 90 comes in. And you might want to check this out. We've been doing some work on the website. Currently, there's an issue with the podcast player, but that's being worked out. I hope to have that taken care of either later today or in the next couple of days anyway. But check that out. See what you think. You can also get the books there, authorjerrymitchell.com, or go to givegod90.com and follow the link that will take you there. However you choose to be His, to become His, learn how to feel comfortable in His hands so that He can feel comfortable holding you in His hand. Something to think about until next time. And until then, I do wish you many, many blessings, everyone.